I have the great pleasure to be talking to Danilo Pérez on our stage here at Kerner Hall. I will let you in on a small secret that in 1997, I think, Danilo came to the Ravinia Festival in Chicago to play with a band that he was in then, and he did a master class for about 500 people. And I watched the master class, and I'd never met him before, and I thought, this guy's got his act together, and he taught for an hour or two and had the whole place on another level musically, even though most of them weren't musicians. So I got to Philadelphia a few years later, and I was looking for someone to collaborate with. And for 8 years, Danilo and I did concerts together. And I think I was counting in my head during the first set. I think we did 45 shows together in Philadelphia that he curated and we put together. And in the middle of each show, we did a little chat with the artists, whether it was Paquito de Rivera or Randy Weston or David Sanchez. We did a series based on John Coltrane. We did a Dizzy series. We did an international global jazz series. We did a New Orleans series. This year, it's still going on as a Billie Holiday series. So we've gotten to know each other pretty well. And it's my great pleasure to welcome you to Toronto.
It's a great pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Let's talk about Dizzy Gillespie. Dizzy came from, well, first of all, you should all know, if you didn't read the program book, that Danilo was Dizzy's last piano player in his United Nations orchestra. So we kind of joke around that Danilo killed Dizzy, because the last couple of years he was the piano player. But tell me about that first experience. You were 22, I think, coming out of Panama. Never really been on the road with big players before, and all of a sudden Dizzy says, "Come on the road with me." What was that like?
Well, it happens a little bit in a way that I was already working with Paquito de Rivera and Claudio Roditi and Sly Hanton, so they put the word out for me. Monty Alexander missed the tour. And they were starting in a couple of weeks, and I got a call from Charlie Fishman, from his manager, and said, "Do you want to play with Dizzy Gillespie?" And I remember the roof was really low, and I couldn't believe I jumped and almost knocked my head. I was like, and I just couldn't believe that's how it happens. It just, So I got there to the airport, and all these amazing cats were there, and I'm looking like, wow, that's James Moody, and that's so and so, and that's. And that's Dizzy Gillespie. And the first thing I said, "Hi, Mr. Gillespie." He goes, "What?" So it was immediately, from the immediate beginning was just, I knew I was in an incredible journey, because he wouldn't say anything. He had a batoon with him. And I remember just the first time he hit that batoon, really, tum, tum, tum. And I asked Sly Hunter, I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "He like what you play." I say, "Okay."
A lot of people think about Dizzy, they think about Salt Peanuts, they think about maybe A Night in Tunisia, but talk about his evolution, because he came from, just a regular swinging trumpet player. Then he invented bebop with 3 or 4 or 5 other players, and then he kind of went in other directions and discovered some Cuban guys and some African guys, and Randy Weston came in. And describe that evolution, his musical evolution, and where he was at when you guys started in the 90s with him. 80s.
Dizzy, I think he always started in a very strange type of way anyway. Sorry. Because even back then, when he was playing with Cab Calloway didn't really want it in his band. He called it that he played Chinese music. And Dizzy told me a story I can't share. It was a private story, but the story has consequences. Like, they got, Dizzy started messing with him. He was really like a trickster, all the time, having fun and enjoying life at every minute. So he came from, he could play with Louis Armstrong. Have you watched those videos where they're playing together? It's an amazing. If you haven't, please go on and check out Dizzy Gillespie and Louis Armstrong. Then he played with Roy Eldridge too. He was one of his heroes. And he went on with a lot of singers too. He participated a lot of the Billy Eckstine group, the Cap Calloway was. But then he had a nice friend from Cuba, Mario Bauzá. Believe it or not, Mario Bauzá was the one who got Dizzy Gillespie in Cat Calloway, you know, and he wasn't dead, he was in love. He knew that there was something majestic and important in the Cuban tradition of playing the congas. Then he met with Chano Pozo, and in 1945 they did the meeting of all this, the Afro-Cuban music. Remember all those big bands, The Things to Come, Algo Bueno. So his evolution, I think, he started already as a really original, and kind of he went in a course of a world, I would say, a worldly journey. To me, he was the global ambassador of jazz. He believed maybe there was a connection with, he was a Baha'i, his faith was from the Baha'i, and maybe there was a connection in the unity and in the spirit. He felt that music united us. So he could put somebody from Brazil with an Indian, with an African, I got to play with Miriam Makeba through Dizzy. I got to do a tour with them. And I got to play with Flora Purin, and it was a wide range. Dizzy really believed that music served as a unifying tool for life, and he really practiced it.
So let's now jump to 2010. You've got this band together that's just starting out. Tonight's the warm-up for New York. Next week you played a jazz standard for 4 nights. But tell us about what you're doing at Berkeley. But Danilo's a professor of music at Berkeley. Besides being in Wayne Shorter's band and having his own trio and other bands as well. But in Berkeley, they've just started this year an institute called the Global Jazz Institute. Tell us about how that was formed and what's going on there musically and non-musically, socially.
Well, I think because of the experience I grew up with my father, and singing me, playing. When I was 2 years old, I was already playing percussion and playing Pata Pata with Miriam Makeba record. Remember that? Pata Pata, and so from little, 2 or 3 years old, I was singing that. I was listening to, Horowitz, to tango, to salsa, to Cuban music. My father was really into piano players from Cuba, La Sonora Matancera, La Orquesta Aragón, Bebo Valdés. I mean, we heard that at home. And I grew up in that environment. But my father really used music for me as a lens to look at life. If I didn't like a course like geography, he would say, don't worry about that. Look, Panama, Veraguas, let's say the different provinces. And he would go like, ta, 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 Panama, Veragua, Chiriquí. So in the class, I would do that. I would be going, Panama, Veragua, Chiriquí. The teacher said, wait a minute, what you doing? I said, I'm trying to remember the answer. So I can see where my roots are and how it kind of brought me to Dizzy, and then from Dizzy I just kept going. And what really motivates me is music as a social tool, as a social change, as a tool to change society, to help the kids to unite. And that's what we're doing at Berkeley. It's a program that not only has performance quality, not only being a good performer, but also using music as a social tool to change society. The second goal is the interdisciplinary work. I believe in images. I believe in painting, the painting with music, the dancer, very important. That was one thing that Dizzy was always talking about. Dance, baby, dance. And the last work, nature. We use the jungle. We go to the jungle and use the birds and use all those sounds to go deep down into the creative, the most creative force that we could be, to the visiting of the jungle. Man, it's a lot of wild stuff. And then you tap into like Messiaen and people. Messiaen was an anthropologist, so those are the three goals. I hope it's not confusing. So one is social tool, second interdisciplinary work, and the third is working with nature for creativity.
I think what sometimes happens, we put music in boxes. So you're a classical musician, you're a jazz musician, you're a world music musician, and what's happening in Berkeley, what's happening on the stage tonight, that trumpet, sax thing that Rudresh and Amir played, you hear all kind of half-flat notes in the Arabic tradition of Amir's maqams, and then Rudresh putting in some kind of raga licks in the middle of salt peanuts. You really break down the barriers of what we perceive to be jazz or what we perceive to be music. And Danilo was doing a master class here yesterday and talking about Messiaen, talking about how to put some bird stuff in the piano parts as he was explaining how to improvise and how to let your mind be open enough to improvise.
Should we try with them an exercise?
Okay, sure.
Yeah, we're thinking that everybody works in a frequency. So let's see what frequency you guys walk into. Close your eyes, and at the 3-4, you're going to give me a note to see what kind of chord it is. I got to tell you, when I did this in New York during the Wall Street period, I had the most oddest chords I ever heard in my life. Here we are, 3, 4. Wow, nice. You guys are on the nice. Keep going. We can make music together, maybe. You're higher. But you see what I mean? I heard the blues when you were singing. That's what I heard. I don't know, when I heard you guys, this is what I was trying to tell you. Everybody is walking with a desire to be a part of this universal symphony in the world. The desire to be, when we talk about being a better human being, this is what we mean. I said that everything that we have in life works against that. And we get out of our track, You'll be singing this note, and then you're like, oh, how am I going to pay the rent tomorrow? These are the things that bothers you, That was nice, man. We should take him on the road.
As long as you got the budget, we're okay.
That's right. They would be an expensive group, I tell you that.
So what are we going to hear in the second half?
Well, we have a little homework for you. We have, I took Manteca. But it's the clave. The clave, what it is. It's easy. Whoever haven't heard the clave, it's easy. You just go, how are you? I'm fine. How are you? That's it. And the clave doesn't have an ego. That's the beautiful thing about the clave. The clave can actually answer. You can say, I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. How? Except that the one I made up for you today has this thing. I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. It has a little extra beat too. All right? So let's see if we can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh. I'm fine. How are you? No, see, you have a little extra there. Let's try that. How are you? And then you have to have how are you? fine. There's a little hiccup in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm fine. How are you? I'm fine. How are you? Okay. So that's a good exercise there. We got it? Good.
Well, we're going to hear Manteca, I think, first up. I should note that the band you're hearing tonight, John Patitucci and Danilo, make up 1/4 of the Wayne Shorter Quartet. Jamie Haddad, who's playing percussion over here, is going to leave pretty soon to go on the road with Simon and Garfunkel. He's been with Simon and Garfunkel for many years. David Sanchez plays with his own groups all over the world. A Grammy Award-winning sax player, Rudresh Manthapa, playing with Vijay Iyer and all the great underground New York village bands. This is an all-star band that hopefully will keep going. You're going to record with these guys pretty soon. I just want to make one other special announcement, my plug here. The next concert on our series is all Cuban with 3 incredible Cuban piano players. Hilario Duran, of course, from Toronto. I don't know if he's here tonight. Hilario? No? He's probably at Changuito. Changuito's playing downtown.
He's playing today somewhere, I hear.
Elio Villafranca, also from Cuba, living in New York. And Guillermo Rubalcaba is coming directly from Havana. Guillermo is the dean of Cuban piano players. He's 82 years old. He's the father of Gonzalo Rubalcaba. But they're all 3 going to be here. And why are they going to be here? Because Jane Bennett, our incredible soprano sax player from right here in Toronto, has brought them all together to recreate her Cuban Piano Masters album. Jane is here tonight, I think, somewhere. Jane, where are you? I don't see you. Wave. There you are.
Hey, Jay. How you doing?
So April 27th, please come back and see Jane Bennett and these 3 incredible Cuban piano masters. And we'll have 3 grand... 17th? Wow, you're good. You know better than...
Yeah, see? Yeah.
We're going to have three grand pianos on stage for Jane and her group. So please come on back to that. And on April the 21st... we're going to announce all of our concerts for next season. We've got an incredible jazz lineup coming up, so stay tuned. You'll see it in the newspapers on Jazz 91. We're going to get to the second half. Thanks all for coming, and stick around for the Latin Jazz Band in the lobby after the show. Thank you, Danilo.
Very much, man.